On a warm summer night in 2001, a man crawled through an open window of a 14-year-old girl's bedroom. He raped her in bed. Despite dedicated detective work and the Englewood Police Department chasing down 100 leads, nothing led to a suspect. The case went unsolved for 10 years, until a law enforcement agency like yours collected a DNA sample from a man arrested for attempted kidnapping in 2011. That DNA sample was sent to the Combined DNA Index System, Codis, laboratory at the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation, BCI. The DNA sample was processed and searched in the Codis DNA Offender Databank against DNA profiles from crimes throughout the state of Ohio, some solved and some unsolved, waiting for a DNA match. The DNA from the attempted kidnapping in 2011 hit to the DNA collected at the 2001 rape scene. That DNA match gave detectives the lead they needed to investigate their case and ultimately find their suspect. Because the suspect's DNA sample was collected on an unrelated crime 10 years later, a horrible rape of a child was solved and potentially future rapes of children were prevented. That suspect, Robert Bernardi, was eventually convicted and sentenced to 15 years in prison. Each month, the Codis system in Ohio not only helps solve crimes in our state, but also helps solve crimes in other U.S. states. There are hundreds of matches a month made just in Ohio's Codis system alone. With each and every DNA collection you make, you are a very important key to making the system work as it should by law. Ohio law addresses whose DNA must be collected. You can find these sections in the Ohio Revised Code 2901.07 and 2152.74. Ohio law requires any adult arrested on, charged with, or convicted of a felony offense, and any juvenile adjudicated of a felony offense to have their DNA sample collected for entry into Codis. Adults may also be collected upon conviction of certain sexually oriented misdemeanors. If you have questions about whose DNA sample should be collected, speak to your legal counsel. Codis samples are different than the samples you collect for a specific case worked by the crime lab. So you may be asked to collect 2 DNA samples, a suspect standard as a result of an investigation of a crime, and a sample for Codis. Your agency should have procedures for determining when an individual's DNA needs to be collected for Codis. Then, look up the individual's computerized criminal history, CCH, in the Ohio Law Enforcement Gateway, OLEG. There, you will see whether or not a DNA sample is presently in Codis. If it is, the demographics box will say under the name in the DNA field, DNA is registered in the Ohio DNA Offender Databank. In this case, your agency does not need to collect a new sample. If the screen says not collected for Ohio DNA Offender Databank, a DNA sample must be collected from the individual. See Ohio Administrative Code 109-5502. DNA collection kits are provided to collecting agencies free of charge. Please send a request via email to codis@ohioattorneygeneral.gov. Everything you need to collect a sample is included in the DNA collection kit except a fingerprint ink pad, gloves, and a non-smearing ink pen. Note, ink pads are not all the same. You will need a high-quality ink pad, one that's made specifically for the purpose of taking inked fingerprints. Work with one individual at a time. Verify the identity of the individual. If possible, the preferred way to do this is through fingerprints. Fill out the DNA collection form. If the individual has been previously arrested, he or she will have a BCI number assigned, which must be recorded on the DNA collection form. If no BCI number is available, use the Incident Tracking Number, ITN, associated with the fingerprints submitted to BCI for the arrest. Complete the additional information required, including collection agency, ORI number, demographic information, qualifying offense, and signature. Collect fingerprints. It is very important to get a clear and legible fingerprint showing ridge detail on the form. The form has 3 spaces for a right thumb print. If the offender does not have a right thumb, use a different finger and note which different finger is used on the form. The individual's thumb should be inked cuticle to cuticle in order to obtain a rolled thumbprint. Roll the fingerprint 3 times, once in each box. Or if your form only has 1 box, roll the additional prints in a blank area on the form. If you don't think the quality of the print is good, showing clear ridge detail, please take more in the blank area or even on the back of the form if needed. Here is an example of a bad print. Here is an example of a good print. Collect DNA. Now you are ready to collect DNA. Put on gloves to prevent contamination. Remove the DNA collector from the package by breaking the blue seal. Place the collector on the package. On the collection card, using a non-smearing ink pen, write the individual's first and last name, BCI number, incident tracking number, ITN, or social security number. Fold back the swab. Swab the inside of the individual's cheek, ensuring that the white foam part of the swab makes contact with the inside of the cheek. Swab 20 times total, 10 on each side. Break the tab on the collector card to open the swab squeezer flap and expose the pink paper. Fold the swab back so the white foam contacts the pink paper. Close the flap and squeeze the foam swab onto the pink paper for 20 seconds. Open the swab squeezer flap and remove the swab by tearing along the perforation. Dispose of the swab in the trash. Fold the swab squeezer flap back over the pink paper. At this point, the pink paper may be white in some areas. Tear along the perforation to split off the transport pouch from the package. Insert the card only into the bottom section of the collector package. The swab should not be attached. Take off the gloves. Use the attached red tape to seal the transport pouch. Initial and date the tape. Place the sealed transport pouch and DNA collection form into the addressed prepaid business envelope. Complete the boxes on the back of the envelope. Note, state law requires the sample be mailed to BCI within 14 days. However, it is best practice to mail the sample as soon as it is collected. If you have any questions, please send inquiries to codis@ohioattorneygeneral.gov or call 1-855-BCI-OHIO.